I have been wanting to talk about this show since it celebrated its 40th anniversary a couple and a half years ago, and now I'm finally going to give this to you. Here's my TV log of the PBS science show for kids, 321 Contact. This is a Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews TV log. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D. Back again with a brand new TV log. Today I'm going to talk about a show from my childhood that I grew up with, seeing at times. Maybe not a whole lot, but I knew this show, and well, it was one of my favorites growing up on public television. You know, I mean, before we even got, well, Mr. Wizard back on the air on Nickelodeon, or before PBS gave us Newton's Apple, or even before Bakeman's World or Bill Nye the Science Guy, there was this show. So here it is, as in today's episode of the TV log, I bring to you 321 Contact. 321 Contact was an educational show for kids on science. It premiered on PBS in January of 1980 and was produced by the Children's Television Workshop. Of course, that's the Sesame Workshop to you, the same company behind Sesame Street and the Electric Company. Now, of course, if you heard me doing in the beginning of the video, I did its theme song, which I do know that song by heart, what have you. Now, the show teaches scientific principles and their applications. Now, Dr. Edward G. Atkins, who was responsible for much of the scientific content of the show, felt that the TV program would not replace a classroom, but would encourage viewers to ask questions about scientific purpose of things. Of course, this would be the next big thing to come to PBS, following cancellation of one of their recent shows, which was Zoom, which ended a couple years before this. Anyway, the show was the brainchild of Samuel Y. Gibbon Jr., who had been the executive producer of the Electric Company, which had also ended 3 years before this, but was still being rerun at the time. He had left the company before the show's production officially began, though he was still credited as senior consultant. The show was based on the original concept of The Curiosity Show, an Australian science-based children's educational TV show that had been running since '72. Anyway, now, that program was hosted by Australian scientists Rob Morrison and Dean Hutton, who were consultants to the CTW in the early planning stages of what became 321 Contact. The studio wanted to make a version using American scientists as presenters, but PBS did not think that middle-aged scientists would engage a young audience despite the popularity of the format in Australia, and insisted that any science show be hosted and or presented by young people. The show eventually reworked the concept into 321 Contact. The first season ran for 65 episodes, beginning in January 14th, 1980. That was just 10 days before I came into the world. On select PBS member stations. It featured a cast of 3 college students who socialized and discussed science in an on-campus room known as the Workshop. The show also used brief segments at the beginning of the show featuring a celebrity and or famous character making a brief scientific statement. Some of the celebrities and or characters that appeared included Robert Gillam, if I mispronounced that, I apologize, for the Food and Fuel Week, Sarah Jessica Parker, long before she did Sex and the City, and before she even appeared on Square Pegs and also Footloose, then performing in the Broadway musical of Annie for Hot and Cold Week. Cast members of A is Enough for Crowley and Uncrowded Week. Donnie Most from Happy Days and Ron Palillo from Welcome Back Kotter for Fast Slow Week. Billy Barty, a very popular little guy who did stuff for Sam Murray Croft, and Carl Weathers, who of course was best known for playing Apollo Creed in the Rocky franchise. Let's see. Did Big and Small Week. Tim O'Connor and Felix Silla, who of course Silla was best known for playing Cousin It on The Addams Family, along with the voice of Mel and the voice of by Mel Blanc from Buck Rogers in the 25th Century for Near Far Week. Gene Wilder for Communication Week. R.E. Johnson reprising a character from his days on Rowan Martin's Laughing for Growth and Decay Week. Sha Na Na members John Bowser Bowman and Screamin' Scott Simon for Noisy Quiet Week, and Rhea Moreno, who was part of the Electric Company cast for its entire run for Forces Week, and the Harlem Globetrotters Meadowlark Lemon and the cast of The White Shadow for Order Disorder Week, and Larry Wilcox of Chips for Surfaces Week. The segment ended with a brief visual film similar to the Scanimate animations used on the Electric Company, showcasing the big words of the week and their role in science. The season came to an end in April of 1980, April 11th, but however it continued in reruns or was removed entirely from scheduling on some stations for the following 3 years, as funding for additional episodes was not yet sufficient. When production finally resumed for the second season, which premiered in October of 1983, the show presented a more realistic appearance as the new cast convened in a suburban basement. These segments were shot at Reeves Teletape, which also housed Sesame Street at the time. The celebrity segments were discontinued, and the science topic was introduced by a computer cursor, which typed out the week's topic and subtopic of the day, replacing the visual films used in the first season. The cast continued until October 18, 1985. Ozzy Alfonso was the show's new director, and Al Hislop was its executive producer. Now, they used different kids and what have you for those runs. When the fifth season began in September of '86, a third cast was introduced. However, unlike the previous cast, they did not meet in any specific setting. Instead, they appeared in various taped and filmed segments, which of course that same year they will also use a brand new version of the theme. And of course, a few months after the fifth season had come our way, the CTW would also give us their next show in the form of Square One TV, which I'll be talking about on the next TV log. Now let's see. Anyway, in November of 1988, after 7 seasons were produced with 225 episodes overall, the show came to an end, but continued in reruns until 1992. Now, reruns resumed the next year on commercial television, with All American Television handling syndication. Now, a frequent segment of the show was the Bloodhound Gang, a series about a group of young detectives who use science to solve crimes. Episodes of the series needed to be run in regular sequence for understandable viewing, as many mysteries were cut among 2 or 3 episodes of 3-2-1 Contact. Yeah, this segment was pretty good, because as always, they answer their phone when their phone rings. They say part of their theme songs like Bloodhound Gang Detective Agency. Whenever there's trouble, we're there on the double. Or it's like, if you got the crime, we got the time, just like the theme song says. There'd also be international versions and what have you. And then in 1991, an edited version titled 3-2-1 Classroom Contact came up for in-school viewing. It was hosted by either Stephanie Yu or Z Wright, or both, and used previously aired segments from past series. But that only lasted until the next year. Now, the 3 main cast members for the first season, we had Liz Moses playing Lisa, Leon W. Grant as Mark, and Jeannie Ortiz as Trini. That was for the earlier episodes. Now, for the later seasons, they had Liz Gorsey as Jackie for field segments in 83. The rest of the cast from 83 to later years, well, there was Kelly Pino who played Kathy from 83 to 85, and the others were from 83 to 86. Frank Gomez as Miguel, Benjamin H. Carlin as Paco, and Judy Leak as Robin. Later on, they had May Mendiola as Diego from 85 to 86, Taz Valet as Mary from 85 to 86. Valet would also appear in a couple of episodes of the Changes story episodes of Punky Brewster that, well, later on the following year, and also later on would go on to play Janice on ABC's sitcom Have the Class for its first 3 seasons. Then in 86, there was Candida Romero as Monique, Abigail Marian as Chantal, and Erica Pascucci. If I mispronounce that, I apologize. Pascucci as Maggie from 86 to 87. There was others who appeared as themselves. Mary Lopez, David Drock, David Quinn, Deborah Allison Shapiro, Todd A. Roll, Hobie Fitzpatrick, plus Stephanie Yu and Z Wright, and Dennis Weaver. Anyway, yeah. Now you can find full episodes of the show on YouTube. You probably not all of them. There's several episodes available on YouTube. I never did get to see the original series because I was too young and it came out before I was even born. But I finally got to see it on YouTube. You can find the first episode, which takes a little long to get to that intro theme because it actually takes a behind the scenes look at how they made the theme. Anyway, now after this, well, not after, but 3 months after the show premiered, a print magazine of the same name that also focused on science was released, as a matter of fact. And later on, they even got to feature Square One TV as well. Anyway, let's see. And soon by the mid-90s, the magazine came to an end. However, then the magazine would later became Contact Kids. Okay, and then the magazine ended in 2001. There we go. Okay. So anyway, you can also find the 321 Classroom Contact episodes on YouTube as well. But watch the original series first, and then if you want to see the other ones, then by all means go ahead. But anyway, 321 Contact, I think, is a great show, and I really do love it. I think you'll enjoy it. So anyway, what are your thoughts on this show? Have you ever watched 321 Contact? You can tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned, my next Saturday morning TV log on my Max will be coming up tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, consider checking out my TV logs for these other PBS kids shows. In the upper left-hand corner is the one I did for Sesame Street. The upper right-hand corner is the one on the Electric Company, which has still so far been my most viewed TV log to date. And the bottom left-hand corner is the TV log I did for Zoom earlier this year, the original series. Now, again, I will spotlight these 9 revivals sooner or later, but I don't know when. And of course, you can also check out my second YouTube channel, Zoom World, if you like more Zoom. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the TV log, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned, because later on I will be doing a TV log on Square One TV. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.